Hey, Dark Steel here. This video's been a long time coming. I know I've been gone for a while. There's been a lot of things standing in my way. And so, finally I had the chance to make a new video today, and so that's what I'm going to do. And this one, I promised a little while back that I'd be making a video, and that my next video would be destructive. And so that is, that's the plan. What I've got here is a Spider Gear knife. This is the SG76 drop point, and it's the black one. The owner of this brand asked me to do something that I hope that you guys find entertaining but also informative, which is to go ahead and destroy this knife to show you the strength and durability of D2 steel, which is what the blade itself is made out of. Now, as you can see, I'm opening this box. This is not the first time I've opened this box. I've actually pulled this out and looked at it before, but I have not used it on anything. This is a fresh new knife. Here's actually the knife that I carry around on me, and I've been carrying this knife for over a year now, and it has never given me any trouble, and that's the same kind of knife we're going to be looking at today. So, first we're going to unbox this baby, pull it out here. Now, each of these comes with its little carrying case. And inside, we have the SG76. And right there on the blade, you can see it says D2. That's the kind of steel it's made out of. And you can find other knives out there that look very similar to this, but this is a very well-made knife. This is a very high-quality knife, and it comes razor sharp. So, today we're going to put that to the test. Now, the first test we're going to do here is one that I'm sure that many of you are quite familiar with, which is just a paper slice test, and it's just to show kind of the starting sharpness. This is the factory edge. I have not done anything to this, and we're just going to, you can see how it just slices right through the paper, giving nice clean cuts. And when you're doing these sharpness tests, the thickness of the paper counts for something. If you go thick like a cardstock or cardboard, then basically a butter knife can sooner or later shred through it. But the thinner the paper, the harder this test actually is, because it tends to bend and fold when you try to push on it. So I picked some notebook paper, which is fairly thin, and oops, I dropped it, which is fairly thin, and it just cuts right through it, no folding, doesn't really give it the chance to bend over on it, because, oh, that was some tearing, but that is, like I said, that is a razor edge. So, that's the factory edge that comes with one of these knives. Now that we have that established, I'm going to bring back the paper test a few times throughout to see how much of the edge we can retain, but now that we have that established, let's go abuse this blade. I'm starting to see a little wear and tear on the blade. I'm starting to see a little bit of some divots forming in the blade. Overall sharpness test should be altered slightly. Yep, it's starting to tear instead of slice. But the integrity of the knife itself is still intact. The rest of the blade, I see no cracks forming. There's no weakness in the locking mechanism. There is no sign of failure except right along the edge. So what we have here is a little bit of chipping right along the edge of the blade. Let's see if I can, there you go. Right along the edge of the blade, right along the tip, which is to be expected. I was just stabbing a car door. I wouldn't suggest that you do this. But again, the integrity of the knife is still intact, and I'm not seeing any damage. There's no wiggling in the locking mechanism. It's still strong. So, let's move on to our next test. Press it. Can you see what I'm doing? Mm-hmm. On the camera? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could still get a little bit of a cut. Look at that. After all of that abuse, I'm still getting a cut. I am still getting a fairly clean cut. This is kind of amazing. I was expecting to throw in the towel at this point and say it wouldn't even cut paper. It's having some difficulty, but that is still a clean cut. It's still not, I mean, that one tore a little bit, but it's still not just shredding the paper like ripping it in half. It's still cutting. So that's pretty amazing. This is still retaining an edge, and the damage has not moved any past the bevel. It's all right there on the thinnest point. So this metal is obviously very strong, very hard metal, to have only taken the damage from what I've been doing that far. Still straight, still no curvature or damage. Moving on. Okay, so I know it said at the beginning of the video not to attempt any of this stuff that I'm doing in this video, but I want to reiterate. just because this blade can take what I'm doing to it, doesn't mean it should. And the test I'm about to do is a very common one. This is not something that people do as a test. This is something people do in real life. And in my opinion, if you do this, and you know who you are, you need your knife taken away. But I know how tempting it is. When you see a screw that you're trying to get out, and you just really want to use what you've got handy to take that screw out. And often, and I've seen a lot of this in knife repairs, I've seen a lot of knives without their tips because people go to unscrew a screw and the tip snaps right off of their knife. And, of course, as with every other test, this knife is exceeding expectations, doing jobs that it was never intended to do. And there's the screw. So, still, I want you to know, I am not a Spider Gear spokesperson. I mention Spider Gear in my videos sometimes because I am very thoroughly impressed with their knives. I am Dark Steel. I make my own knives. I have my own knife brand. So, whenever I say that I am impressed with Spider Gear, that is not... I'm not being paid to say that. I am not affiliated with them in any way. I do sell their knives in my store, but again, it's because I believe in them, not because I'm being paid to or anything like that. So, as you're watching this video, these are the first attempts I'm ever making with this knife to do any of the jobs that I'm telling it to do, that I'm having it do, and I am absolutely blown away so far that I haven't been able to, and I've actually been trying to, I haven't been able to cause real lasting damage on this knife. If I wanted to right now, I could take this to the sharpening block and get this back to almost where it started. I could refurbish this knife in a heartbeat and have it back to where it was whenever I started. So, I am very impressed with it. And so, on to the next one. Okay, so, the goal here is break the knife. I have been trying and trying, and it has not actually gotten real damage. So I'm going to put what I believe will be the final nail in this knive's coffin. Very few knives can take what I'm about to do to it, and I won't just push it until it snaps. I'm going to push it to a certain extent of my power and see if it snaps. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, and if it does, it does. My goal is set. I'm going to break this knife. But the fun part of this is seeing how much damage it can take before that actually happens. This might be it. So, full face mask, obviously. I got gloves on. This still doesn't stop me from coming to any harm if this breaks in the wrong direction or anything like that. I'm only going to push it to a certain extent, but I'm going to put a lot of weight into it, trying to break it. So here we go. I'm a little bit nervous about this one. I had my camera crew step back a little bit. So just to have the camera on a tripod, and I've got everybody backed off, so if this goes wrong, it goes wrong for me only. And here we go. Okay. Oh my God. Whew. Not even a warp. Okay. Alright, out of curiosity, I'm going to do a little more. Whoa. Okay. Seriously. I'm having a little trouble believing this. because I genuinely thought that was going to be it. Okay, I've got to come up with another test then. I thought this was the last one. That is awe-inspiring. I'm not seeing a chip. I'm not seeing any damage. I'm seeing a little bit of a divot that putting it in the vise and then cranking it like that created some divots along the spine. But I'm not seeing any cracks. I'm not seeing any lasting damage here that I couldn't fix by polishing it back up. Okay, well, on to the next one. Alright, at this point, I'm just coming up with things on the fly here. So, having done rope, then the cord, then wood, then a bone, I figure sandstone is the next move up. So I've got this rock that we've started kind of chiseling away at with some actual chisels. And I'm going to see how much D2 steel can take of taking some wax off of the edge of this sandstone. And again, I've had everybody step back because I don't know, rock or knife could go flying in this test. So so I've got everybody moving back. But let's go. Let's try this out. Oh, doing some real damage just to the edge, but the actual blade is fairly well intact still. Starting to wear that edge completely away. But if you're going to tell me that this knife can't stand up to your daily use, again, I'm going to say you have no business owning a knife. Because this knife defied my expectation. Like I said, I carry one of these around. I carry one on my person all the time and use it for anything I need a knife for. And today I am finding out what a treasure I carry around in my pocket, because I did not expect for this kind of abuse to even be possible. Of course, I'm not going to do this to the one I carry. We've got some mild warping right along the edge that I've chipped away, and it's starting to fold back a little bit. But I mean, it took on sandstone like a champ. Thought we should do a close-up. This is why I'm not doing the paper test anymore, because the paper test has become irrelevant. We've got some pretty severe damage along the very edge there, but I defy you to point out the real damage in the body of the blade, because there isn't any. And again, still, we have not damaged the locking mechanism, we have not damaged the handles, we have not... see, this is a weak spot. This has got a pin running through it, and on any folding knife, this is the weak spot. Because any kind of wear and tear, any kind of damage that you're doing to it, it's going to start to feel it right in that hinge, right in that pin. And this is not... there's no wiggle that I can feel. This blade, this knife, is so sturdy. It's so unbelievably well built. And I'm sorry, I know I keep saying the same things, but it's because I actually, truly am just standing here in astonishment, trying to figure out exactly how to go about destroying this thing. So, I know that so far the point of this video has been to test the D2 steel, which is what the owner of this brand asked me to do, was to show off the strength and durability of D2 steel and the construction of the knife. But as I've been going, I have also been kind of awestruck by the lock mechanism, the hinge, how the handle is on, how strong that is and how it's held up to some abuse. And so I've decided, just kind of as my final test, I'm throwing in the towel on trying to break this this blade. What happens happens, but I'm gonna do something that can be a little bit abusive to knives that aren't meant for it, which is using them as throwing knives. I've got my target over here, and remember that this is not a test of my skill at throwing knives. This is a test of the handle and the durability and what happens to knives when you throw them and they hit sideways or whatever. So anyway, with no further ado. Okay, you got it? Mm-hmm. You guys back off. Okay, so as I thought, all of the abuse I gave it, we've got a little bit of play right there in the handle. It's starting to come off a little bit, and I've noticed just a tiny bit of wiggle in this spot, which could be fixed by tightening that screw. This did not take much damage. I have thrown some larger knives before, and honestly what I thought were sturdier knives and broken off the handle material or whatever by missing, and it hit sideways or anything like that. And this is not this has not taken that kind of abuse, or it has taken that kind of abuse. It has not failed in the same way. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed my video. I hope you trust in what I've done here, and if you don't, then leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think I've done wrong or anything like that. But I want you to know that this is all absolutely genuine. This is honest to God. This is my these were my genuine responses to the tests I'm doing, and the tests were whatever I could think up to try and harm this knife, and I must admit failure. If you're interested in purchasing this knife, you can go on to spidergear.com. I'll have the link in the description below. You can also, if you're in the local area, come into Rowanwood Art in Lincoln, and we've got some of these out for sale there. And if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, you know where to leave them. Please like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.